You tell us about it, lady. That was quite a night, wasn't it? That was quite a night, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Brittany at Big Cat Rescue here in Tampa, Florida. I figured we would check in after the storm. I think we might still get a little rain, maybe a little last minute wind, but for the most part, I believe we're out of it at this point. So it was a very rainy, windy night, and first thing this morning, Erin drove around and made sure that she got eyes on all the cats and all of the enclosures. Gonna be quite a bit of just like stick cleanup, kind of what we thought it would be. But I did see a pretty big tree come down on one of the enclosures, and so we're gonna head out there so that I can show you guys. I spend so much time trying to explain how and why our enclosures are built the way that they are. You'll see there's quite a bit of standing water too, but I've actually seen it far worse at different times of year. So once all of the cats are fed this morning, and once all of the cleaners have walked each and every enclosure just to triple check the integrity of all of the cages, then cats like Duchess and Priya and any of the big cats that have open air sections most likely will get put back out into those sections probably today or by tomorrow. We fared well, so what I want to show you guys is, as we were doing our drive arounds this morning, Victor and Jamie are here and Erin's driven the whole property, and I've driven the whole property. We did have a pretty big oak tree. I mean, it wasn't a huge oak tree, not like these, but a pretty tall one that was brand new, that had kind of just been planted a handful of years ago. Did come down out at rehab, but it didn't touch any of the cages. So you can see there's just a lot of standing water and a lot of like leaf debris. It's actually not uncommon for the sanctuary to look like this at any point in time during storm season, but the fact that it was a Category 1 hurricane until it actually got really close to the coast, and then it did downgrade into a tropical storm. And there's Gil again. So we got a late start on meds, and everybody's still waiting on breakfast because we've been checking all the enclosures. Hi, sir. Gil again. We've had eyes on all the cats. Most of them are just hungry. Everybody's doing well. I also went out and checked on the squirrels and the rehab bobs. So I'm pretty sure, other than maybe some more rain, there's absolutely no wind whatsoever this morning, which is eerie after all of the wind last night. But I'm going to take you guys out and show you, because one of the big questions we get about our enclosures being in Florida, they're smalls. Miss Lady, she's doing well. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. Was it a crazy night? Yeah, it was a little windy, I'd say. It was pretty crazy. We've already had a big stick run as well, so Gina has driven the whole property and got any kind of limbs or really big sticks that would have been down and across to the tour path out of the way so that we can at least drive around. You can see all the water and debris. Erin's still checking everybody. Morning! There's lots of scattered debris. But I'm sure there's Cricket again. We're seeing a lot of the same cats we saw yesterday when we did this drive around. So this water that's right here, that's probably 3 or 4 feet deep because there's a little ditch right there. So we're making our way back for me to show you guys an example. To our knowledge, this is the only place that a tree came down on part of an enclosure. and it was with Beecher. So I really wanted to show you guys this because during all of our home tours, and if you go to our critical disaster page, or you go check out bigcatrescue.org/cages, or you just hear us explain our cages till we're blue in the face, we always explain that the 4x4 wire allows wind to just whip right through it. So it's different than if it was a solid surface and the wind would be hitting it, like a fence or something, like a wood fence. You know, that's the kind of stuff that just tumbles and falls. So you'll see that the very top of this tree here snapped, and this limb fell on. You can see that there's a door down and it's locked because this is just the tunnel to and from our funcation area. So I asked Jamie, I was like, can I show this on my live this morning? Because we get asked this by not only our viewers, but inspectors and all kinds of people that come out. So you can see this tree limb, or it's actually a tree trunk, fell and hit this part of the tunnel. And it did exactly what we always say that it does. It crumples and creates a blockage rather than just busting wide open. So you can see this limb that's kind of in the center probably is what dented this right here. But this is an open side because we connect it. So we'll have to straighten all that out by the time somebody uses this to go on vacation. I know, Beach Boy. I bet that was scary when that came down. Yeah. You're doing okay though, huh? You're doing okay though, right? So to my knowledge, this is the only one that we've had this time around. During Hurricane Irma, a similar situation happened, and it was on Pharaoh's enclosure, and the same thing happened. The top ceiling just dented in like this. And then we had a tree go down next to the gift shop during that hurricane as well, and same deal. Hi, Bud. Say, I'm doing okay. It was probably a little scary noise. Yeah, I know. There's not really grass back here, but you can play with that stick. So part of our observations, he's looking up like, is anything else falling down? Yeah, I think it's done. There's not even any wind now. I know, handsome. So I figured you guys would want to check in for sure with the cats. You'll see there's just all kinds of, like limbs and trees and things like that, all kinds of scattered debris, but we actually see this during pretty much any storm, and then obviously significant amount of standing water when we had absolutely none. Hi, my boy. How's Cyrus? Hi, how's Cyrus? So being in Tampa, Florida, and having just celebrated our 28th anniversary, storm seasons are not new to us. So while it can be scary and it's very nerve-wracking and nobody slept last night, yeah, we're very, very lucky that it started to dwindle as it approached and was not actually a hurricane when it hit to us, so. I know. I'd say what was scariest and what is always scariest, especially me being from Ohio, is all of the rapid tornado warnings that just come and go all day long. I'd say every 15 minutes somewhere in either the county I live in or the county I work in had some kind of warning going on, but luckily I don't think there were any confirmed tornadoes from this storm. I didn't get a chance to check the news though. When I woke up, I basically shot out of bed. My husband and I both drove across the bridge, which was terrifying, by the way, because it was still a little dark. And as we were approaching, we crossed the Howard Franklin Bridge, and it's like a 7-mile bridge. And as we were getting on and off of it, it's the lowest part of that bridge. And yeah, they had it all blocked down to one lane, and they were using bulldozers to push all of the seaweed and sand and debris and everything that washed up out of the bay right across the bridge. So I am very thankful that I drove home yesterday around 3 o'clock, and by the time I got there is when the wind probably picked up to be the worst. So I was very happy that I got home, weathered it out there. I knew there were tons of people that were either staying at the sanctuary or they live on property or they live right outside the gate. I know you don't like having wet feet. You're a typical cat. So this is Cyrus. We just saw Beecher. Beecher's actually, he likes water, so he's definitely all about splashing around in some puddles. Thankfully, he's got plenty right now. So if you guys missed it, I have to walk back by this to go back to my cart anyway. Figured we'll just drive the whole property like we did yesterday so you guys can kind of see. It's not too bad. We've got a couple ouchies like this, but like I said, the cages did what we say they do. So we'll have to end up repairing that. Thank you, Cheryl, for the donation. All right, so not too shabby. I think we're all feeling pretty lucky for our storm season this year. Go figure, 2020 couldn't let Florida not have something, at least our area of Florida. I feel the most sad from all my favorite beach towns. I know John's Pass and Gulfport took on a lot of water. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch the news this morning. It was like, didn't sleep very well anyway. I'm heading back because it was not raining and there was no wind, so we went for it. All of these enclosures are pretty typical to have water, but this is another good example. You can see that Mouser's enclosure is dry, but the outside of it, where the keepers walk around, is not dry. And like Hutch has like this dry area with that den that's up really high, and then it's dry all that direction, but the very back part of that enclosure does take on a little bit of water. So we've made sure that the interior of the cages are built up a little bit higher than the surrounding. Same thing with Zucari here. So you can see the inside of Zucari's enclosure is dry, but the outside, that's why when you're a keeper here, you know you need very tall boots, because it can go all the way up to your knees or even higher sometimes. Oh, there's Alethea. Hi, lady. Sometimes it goes higher when you're in Outback. There's a sneaky flat cat over here somewhere. Yep, his stuff looks good. I'm still just staring at the tops of everybody's enclosures because that's where you would be concerned about a tree or a limb or something. So like I said, there's Manny. We make sure that all of the cats have had eyes on them first thing this morning, and then now as the feeders go out and feed, we'll be able to tell if anybody's acting funny. And same thing when the cleaners go out, we'll be able to see if the cats look good and the enclosures need anything. There's Kimba back there. Here's Dez. So Dez is one of those exceptions where he actually does have an open air side, which is this side, and then he is locked in his closed roof section. And again, you can see it's nice and dry, but there's a nice little drainage ditch out here. We try to make it so that all of the water on property will drain towards the lake. So here's Simba. How was your first Florida tropical storm, sir? He's like, I just want breakfast. Just bring me the breakfast, lady. Are you honking? We are honking. Very, very excited about our auctions for the Walkabout. Those are going to start tomorrow. Some parrots flying overhead. Ooh, that's something I should drive you guys out to see. When we have really intense storms like this, the area out where my office is, the area we call the party house, it turns into basically a bird sanctuary. And so right now when I drove in this morning, there were just like hundreds of different types of birds, including like offshore birds, because they're like, there's a crazy storm out there. We're gonna go to the nearest place we can find. So hopefully today Jasmine will get to go out in her open air section, but she's also still in her roof section. She had that nice big concrete den that she could be in. You hiding behind your sign. She's like, I'm ready to run. She was chasing my cart this morning. I know. So I've already been out to the rehab area. Angel and Poppy seem to be doing just fine. We did lose a whole oak tree went down out there, but it didn't touch any of the cages. I went into the rehab hospital. It looks fine. I checked on the rehab squirrels. All the ones that are still in the rehab cage are of course doing fine, and it was just another day for them. The 4 that we set free like almost 2 weeks ago, I didn't see any of them, but I'm sure it was pretty scary and traumatic, so I laid a bunch of food and treats and stuff down, so we'll see. So you can see overall, I mean, it's wet and there's a lot of just like random leaf debris, but if you missed where I showed the one big tree that came down on a cage, you'll want to rewatch this because it's just going to show you that it did what we said it would do. Here's Miss Sapphire. You're looking pretty filthy today. Were you playing? My guess is you were playing. She loves playing in the mud and laying in the mud and rolling around. She's like, it's breakfast time. She's getting growly. I know, honey. Because we had to spend so much time checking all the cats and driving, around property, it delayed the supplements going out, which delayed the meds going out, which is delaying all the cats eating. Normally they'd be eating if not done right now, but we've still got to get to that. Miss Kali, were you gonna surprise me? Kali is still on vacation. What a bummer to have a tropical storm on your extended vacation. I know, what a bummer. Miss Aria. Patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. I know. But my hope is that the storm is good and gone, and we'll still have some really nice weather for the Wildcat Walkabout, which is this Saturday. Here's Miss Manda up there. She was sloshing around this morning, not caring about the water. Thank you so much for the 3 of you that have donated, and we really appreciate everybody who was sharing this and answering questions. Really appreciate all of your concerns and well wishes and everybody who sent positivity yesterday that the storm wouldn't be so bad, and we are very fortunate. We did end up going around and making sure that anything that could have flown around was secured. You can see quite a few of the palm tree leaves and stuff like that have fallen, but again, that happens during a normal heavy thunderstorm, let alone a big storm like this. What's so scary about a storm like that is you know where it's been and what it did in its path, and at one point it was a Category 4, so we are very, very lucky it was a tropical storm when it got here. Well, maybe some of our birds have moved on. I'm just seeing, oh, actually they're just expanding their reach. So there's a ton of ibis working their way around over there. Just a lot of ducks now. I think my pelicans and some of the other birds I saw first thing this morning have already moved on. But this area out here, you can see it basically, and it even smells like salt water out here. So, I mean, there were hawks, there were all kinds of stuff out here. So it looks like I missed it. All right, everybody, well, we'll end here. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. And you can rewatch this at dailybigcat.com. And I'm very excited to the 7 of you that have signed up for my Zoom meeting on Saturday. It looks like I have 4 tickets left. So if you are wanting to interact with any of the staff or volunteers, you can still sign up to do that. When you buy your ticket for $4.99 for the Walkabout, you can also make an additional donation to get in on those Zoom meetings. You can talk with Lisa or Becky, Aaron, Afton, myself, or Carol. I forget if there's anyone else on that list now, but you would get an agenda and an option for that. So, Cassie, yeah, actually I have seen my hawk. I've seen him twice this morning, and I actually think he may have gotten himself a girlfriend, and now there may actually be a baby. I saw a very, very small hawk last week that I hadn't seen before, and it was weirdly after I started noticing that there was a much larger and a much smaller one that I keep spotting. So I think there might be a family of them now, which is adorable. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Hopefully all of you feel better about this update. And again, if you want to see how our enclosures work during a storm, this is a good video to check out. So go to dailybigcat.com and you can rewatch it there. Thank you guys so much.